Hi everybody, it's Mary Beth with Crochet Girl, and I'm doing a yarn review today on the new Caron cakes. I know that there are a couple of reviews already out here on this great yarn, but I wanted to go ahead and give some input. This is exclusively available at Michael's. It is a part of the Caron Cakes 100th anniversary, hence why it's in the form of a cake for birthday cake. It's kind of cute. And this retails for $7.99 at Michael's, which might seem like a steep price, but you can easily bring it down with coupons because Michael's always has fabulous coupons. They have 40% and 50% off, so you'll definitely be able to find a coupon that you can use to knock this down in price. It has 383 yards, which gives you a good bit for a large project. And as you can see, it's quite large. It's basically the size of my head, so you do get a big thing of yarn. This is probably the biggest cake I have ever seen. So this is also a gradient yarn, and the way that this is different from a typical yarn that you would find that changes colors is that it has long strands of color, so that it's more of like an ombre effect as it's going through the project. It has about 5 colors in it, so you have 5 different colors that it'll transfer between. And the color that I have here is in the color Blueberry Cheesecake. There are about 8 to 10 other colors, I'm not entirely sure. So there is definitely a color range for everyone. And this yarn is also 80% acrylic and 20% wool, which is something to keep in mind in case you don't want to take hair of wool or if you're allergic. Even though it's only 20%, that could always have an effect on the way your project turns out or how it affects your own skin. And so I actually have a swatch today. This is crocheted using a 5mm hook as per the wrapping instructions. And I just wanted to go ahead and show you so you can see how the color change happens. And as you can see, this is kind of a short colorway. This is a 5x5 swatch. And the thing about this yarn is that the different sections of color are actually different throughout the yarn, if that makes any sense. It's different throughout the cake because this is what happens with mass-produced factory yarn, is that it'll get lopped off at the end, and so therefore, like towards the end or the beginning, sometimes the blocks will be shorter than the overall length of the colors inside of the cake. To give you an example, I actually have been working on this lovely peacock pineapple shawl pattern. And I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. You can't really see the whole thing, obviously, but you can see how the color changing variegation is much different from the swatch I have here. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you that that's kind of how the color changes throughout your project. And so you can expect longer chunks. This yarn is definitely meant for larger projects such as shawls and blankets and other types. You could use it for hats and mittens, but just keep in mind that there's only going to be 2 colors, and the second color is going to be just a pop or an accent either at the top of the crown, or it can be a ribbed along the edge, which is also cute, but you're not going to see as much color change as you would with a different type of yarn. Another thing about this yarn is that it is not truly ombre. As you can see, the color kind of shifts through, but it goes from darkest to lightest and then darkest again. So if I take the wrapper off, you can see how it goes from the darker color immediately to the lighter blue. Whenever I'm personally dyeing yarn, I like to keep it at a true ombre. So instead of switching immediately to the lighter blue here, I would have probably gone with going to the second to darkest shade, so that is a seamless ombre effect. But that's just my opinion, and that's how I feel about the yarn. One thing you can do to change this is you can cut off the yarn at the place where the lighter starts, and then you can find another cake that has the inside of it where you can start over with the next color, which is a lot of work. It is, but if that's the look you want to go for, it's always something you can do. Not all cakes are created equal. Some cakes are going to have different color centers and different colored outsides, which could be useful for whenever you're creating a project and you end off on one color, and so you have to start in with another color. But keep in mind, if you're looking towards the center pool of this, you will need to dig around to try to find the correct color in the center. So as you can see, it looks like it's the third darkest color that you're going to find whenever you start your center pull. But in reality, if you kind of open it up there, you can see there's actually a different color altogether, if you can see that. And so that's one thing to keep in mind if you're in Michaels. I would personally just kind of poke around to make sure that you are getting the right transition color, because it would be really unfortunate to start off on one and then get stuck on a color that's like 2 or 3 colors away, because it's going to mess up the color pattern within your work. And as far as the softness of this yarn, this is quite soft. It's somewhat loosely wound, which can be an issue because it splits somewhat whenever you're crocheting with it, but it's not as bad as other yarns such as Caron Simply Soft. I cannot stand, this is just my personal opinion, I do not like Caron Simply Soft because my hook will go in it and it'll start to split, and it's just extremely difficult to work with. This yarn is a lot easier to work with than Caron Simply Soft, and so I definitely give it points on that. And so, as I mentioned before, this is a limited edition item. So if you're looking for another yarn that's similar to this, not quite the same, but somewhat similar, I came up with a couple of options. There is Knit Picks Chroma, which is available in worsted and fingerling, but go with worsted if you're looking for a yarn weight that's more similar to this. That retails for $9.99 for 198 yards. So you're getting less bang for your buck than with the Caron cakes. And there's also another indie brand yarn that I really enjoy. It is the Crystal Palace Mochi Plus, and that is available for $8.90, but that's only 90 yards. So yet again, it's a more expensive option. But if you're looking for something else out there, it's definitely something to keep in mind. And another thing about those two yarns that I mentioned is that the color transitions are a lot smaller than they are with the Caron cakes. This product is very unique in that fact, in that the transitions are really long transitions for larger projects where you're going to have a lot to work with if you want to see all 5 of those colors really pop within it. So that's my review on Caron cakes. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's another yarn you would like me to review, and have a great day.